Hi, my name is Seth Marlowe, and I wrote a book called Pathbreaker Parenting. My wife Donna and I raised two daughters, Brooke and Lauren, who are now 24 and 26, respectively. In this video, I will share why they were raised differently from their friends, how it all worked out, and why I decided to write a book about it. So almost 20 years ago, this picture was taken the day I taught Brooke how to ride a bike. I want to start by sharing a video from that day. Brooke, what'd you just learn how to do?
Running for a chain wheel.
Woo! Only on the first lap, right?
Yes.
First time around, she knew how to do it.
Yes.
She's excited.
Yes.
All right, we'll show this to Mommy when we get back.
Okay. Okay, Daddy, I'm ready. I'm ready doing my bike now. I'm ready to get on my bike now, Daddy.
You ready?
Yeah. Come on.
So for obvious reasons, that is one of my and Donna's favorite videos. She's so cute, that video. But why do I show you that video, and why did I write about it in my book? Well, Donna and I were watching that video several years after it was taken, and it hit me in that moment that I couldn't remember the last time Brooke and Lauren were that excited about something they learned at school. It caused me to wonder, why are kids constantly pressured to excel at learning things that do not excite them? The pressure now begins in elementary school. Kids are placed on a linear, formulaic path they're told is the key to success and happiness as adults. Core to this path is academic excellence. If they get the best grades possible in school, stockpile enough achievements, make the right decision about what they will be, and get accepted by a brand name college, well, then they'll have a chance to get a good job, make good money, and find happiness. As I'll explain in a bit, Donna and I decided 15 plus years ago that this path was not just irrelevant, but potentially damaging. Unfortunately, current research confirms we were right. And that is why my book is titled Pathbreaker Parenting. My goal is to help parents start new conversations with their kids that remove all of the pressure that comes with this path and empowers them to gradually discover self-directed thriving. The book has 5 sections. In the first section, I introduce the problem, the cause, and the concept of starting new conversations with your teen or tween. In section 2, I share 11 anecdotes from my life that built my conviction. Brooke's bike video is one of those 11, and I'll share a couple of others in this video. In section 3, I dismantle the path step by step to help parents understand the potential damage of each step. In section 4, I shift into the growth mindset that is required of you and your teen if you want to exit the path and take a different approach. And in the final section, I walk through what we prioritized and worked on with Brooke and Lauren during the decade between about ages 12 and 22, and what it all led to. What most motivated me to write this book is a worsening problem in our society. Young adults are struggling mightily to find happiness and meaning in their lives. One of the articles I reference in the book states that the degree to which young adults are unhappy is pretty striking, pretty disturbing. But this study, which I found just after the book was finished, goes even further. During a time of their lives that should be about growth and possibility, far too many young adults are overwhelmed by fear, anxiety, and loneliness. Almost half of them feel like things are falling apart around them. Half say their mental health is negatively influenced by not knowing what they want to do with their lives. And half or more worry about their finances, and they're still feeling achievement pressure. So what's causing this? There are theories ranging from social media use to COVID to inflation and many others. While I don't believe there's any one cause, I strongly believe much of this stems from how they were raised, what they were told to believe, and the expectations they brought with them into adulthood. And it all comes back to the path. So you might be thinking to yourself, what's this guy's deal? Why is he so worked up about this? And how did he form his belief system? Well, as I mentioned before, in the second section of the book, I share 11 anecdotes about what formed my conviction, and I'll share 2 more of them right now. The first is when I read the book The World is Flat by Thomas Friedman. This was almost 20 years ago, in 2006, but it was a seminal moment in my parenting journey. Friedman opened my eyes to the impact of the simultaneous explosion of the internet and globalization. Here's a 20-second clip from a speech he gave after the book was released. Now again, this is almost 20 years ago.
Now, one of the iron rules of the world a world of business, education, entrepreneurship, that immediately flows from this new flat world platform is this: whatever can be done will be done. There's only one question for you: will it be done by you or to you?
That one question, will it be done by you or to you, really landed with me. So even though Brooke and Lauren were still in elementary school, it was the first time I started thinking about the world in which they would become young adults and how vastly different it would be from any prior generation. A few years later, we started thinking about that question in three ways as we guided Lauren initially into her teen years. First, he wrote about how the internet fundamentally changed how humans would access and acquire knowledge. For the first time in human history, the playing field would be leveled for anyone with an internet connection. And so, going back to his core question, would learning be done by them or to them? The path relies on mass industrialized education, where learning is mostly done to you. We felt strongly that the fundamental change in access to knowledge, that mattered a lot. And so we removed all pressure about grades at school and introduced the concept of self-directed learning. Second, he explained that the days of job openings being posted in the classified section of the local newspaper with a few applicants walking in, those days were ending. By the time Brooke and Lauren were young adults in the 2020s, they would compete against everyone else in the world with the same skills and credentials that they had. And that meant we needed to decide, would differentiation be done by them or to them? Following the path meant our daughters would get the same credentials from the same types of colleges as everyone else. And that just felt like it would be irrelevant. So we started helping Brooke and Lauren understand that not only was it perfectly okay not to do what everyone else was doing, it would actually be to their advantage. And third, as he stated in that video, whatever can be done will be done. By 2006, technology was already causing volatility, and he wrote how the pace was quickening. Everything from economies to job markets to wages would be repeatedly disrupted in ways never seen before. And that caused us to consider, would change be done by them or to them? To us, the path was linear and formulaic. It presented an illusion of certainty that would cause young people to become followers who are not prepared to confidently navigate a very volatile world. We started working with Brooke and Lauren on the importance of risk-taking, emotional intelligence, and navigating uncertainty. The World is Flat was the initial spark. Then a second book took things to a whole new level. In 2012, I read Stop Stealing Dreams, a free ebook by Seth Godin. Then I sent it to Lauren. This is what happened.
So I read it and I sent it to Lauren on Saturday morning, not expecting her to read it. This is a 15-year-old freshman in high school. And a few hours later, she came downstairs and said, that blew my mind and I'm not going to go to college. So
I ate that book. I ate it.
Yeah,
I hope you were prepared for that.
Yeah, I'm prepared. By that point in time, I was prepared for anything with Lauren. Yep. Honestly. So it didn't, I don't know how surprised I was that she came down and said that, but from the standpoint, I didn't want to tell her what I think. I sent it to her. And when she came down and had that visceral reaction, that's when this really got serious and all started.
I mentioned we had already devalued the path, but once Lauren had such strong conviction at 15, just starting high school, that she would not go to college, we had to get serious about how she would dedicate her time and energy, not just throughout high school, but after high school. So what was it about this ebook that so captured us and caused such a visceral reaction? This video clip is from a TED Talk Seth Godin gave after releasing his ebook. That TED Talk has almost 700,000 views on YouTube.
What people do, quite naturally, is if it's work, they try to figure out how to do less. And if it's art, we try to figure out how to do more. And when we put kids in the factory we call school, the thing we built to indoctrinate them into compliance, why are we surprised that the question is, will this be on the test? Right? Someone who's making art doesn't say, can I do one less canvas this month? They don't say, can I write one less song this month? They don't say, can I touch one fewer person this month? It's art. They want to do more of it. But when it's work, when it's your job, when you're 7, Of course you want to do less of it. And now we're at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads because as a culture, we say the only thing we care about, the only place we're willing to cross the street to go, the only thing we're willing to buy, the only person we're willing to vote for, the only stuff we're willing to talk about is interesting, is art, is new, will touch us, is valuable. And then we spend all of our money and all of our time teaching people not to do that. Why wouldn't we want to teach our kids to go do something interesting? Why wouldn't we want to teach our kids to figure it out? And yet, every day we send kids to school and say, do not figure it out. Do not ask questions I do not know the answer to. Do not look it up. Do not vary from the curriculum. And better, comply. Fit in. Be like your peers. Do what you're told, because I must process you, because everything in my evaluation is based on whether or not I processed you properly.
His central question throughout the book is, what is school for? I had never asked myself that question. Perhaps you haven't either. Mass scale compulsory education was not designed to motivate kids to be independent thinkers and dreamers. How could it? Can you think of a single system designed to simultaneously process millions of participants that can cater to the unique needs of any one of those participants? The goal has always been the same: to churn out compliant and obedient adults who are certified to look for a job. The goal has never been to individually enlighten or empower our children. This is why I strongly believe that you, the parent, have a critical decision to make. Will you participate in the arms race and taskmaster your child to accumulate accolades and awards in a system intentionally designed to produce compliant cogs? Or are you ready to mentor a pathbreaker? If your answer is the former, well, then this isn't for you, and that's okay. But if you're ready to mentor a pathbreaker, let's get into how you do that. Early in the book, I provide a side-by-side table of what conversations on the path look like versus the new conversations you're about to start. Right at the top is what we just discussed. On the path, learning is done to you, but you will focus on learning as something your child chooses to do. The path presents the illusion of certainty, but your new conversations will embrace uncertainty. The path convinces you that completing tasks is valued, but you will focus on empowering a linchpin. In the last example, the path focuses you to decide what you want to be. What do you want to do when you grow up? But your new conversations will ask a different question.
What was the perspective about careers? But how did that conversation change as you all talked about what comes next after high school?
They never asked the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? There was not that pressure of trying to figure it out. Hey, what do you want to do in 10 years? How are you supposed to know that? I haven't even paid a single tax yet. I don't know how the world works. I think it was less of the let's figure out what you want to do and more of what do you want to try first.
I feel like that's just kind of helped me live in the moment and, live a steady, happy life and not having the pressure from my parents through middle school and high school all the time asking me what I want to do, or, you need to find something. You're 18 years old. You're about to be at that age where you're really needing to start your career and live on your own. Not having that pressure has just given me freedom to try out new things and learn how to do things that I love and figure out ways to make a living doing that.
Pathbreaking centers on two core themes. First is building a growth mindset within you and your team. I start by comparing a growth mindset to what you do not want, a fixed mindset. The path tends to form a fixed mindset as kids focus on looking smart, staying in their lane, and avoiding criticism. And the rise of social media has significantly worsened the last highlighted row that you see there. They grow up feeling threatened by the success of others. In section 4, I explain how to develop what you see on the right. Each chapter takes the same approach. For example, one aspect of a growth mindset is that you are playing the long game. So I describe what I mean by this, and then I provide scripted conversations for a parent to hold with their teen or tween on this topic. Once a growth mindset is firmly in place with you and your child, now you're ready to path break. Remember, you're no longer trying to taskmaster a high-achieving teenager. You're empowering a self-directed, thriving young adult. I picked the word thrive because I love the simplicity of the definition, and how it aligns to a growth mindset, to grow or develop vigorously. Each of these bubbles represents new ways to invest time, energy, activity, and yes, money for you and your team. And each bubble is its own chapter. So, for example, this is the start of the chapter on emotional intelligence. I define what EQ is and its importance. Then I walk through several questions and conversations to create new dialogue between you and your child. Summarized, your teenage child will develop into a thriving young adult if 4 character traits are in place. Everything is built on fostering innate, inside-out happiness, which takes many years of practice. When this is firmly in place, the voice in your head is always your biggest cheerleader. Second, the combination of a vibrant growth mindset and high emotional intelligence enables a young adult to navigate uncertainty and continuously grow. The third characteristic of a thriving young adult is someone who confidently self-directs their learning and sets their own expectations. As long as you're in control of both, you will rarely feel stuck. And last, rather than seeking certification to look for a job, a thriving young adult in today's dynamic world is adept at value creation. You proactively seek and pounce on opportunities to create unique value for others. Developing those 4 characteristics requires time, energy, and practice. Over several years, while their friends were being relentlessly implored to get good grades, accumulate credentials, and go to college, Brooke and Lauren were learning how to thrive. And that meant they were not checking boxes on the path. They didn't win any academic awards. They weren't elected to any leadership positions. They didn't do things to improve their chance of getting into a college. And combined, they completed 1 semester of college. So what happens when you transition to young adulthood without having done almost any of the things society tells you are required for success and happiness?
I've observed you both as thriving. You're thriving young adults. What does that mean to you?
Self-love. I don't know. Like,
yes, that's pretty much what I was going to say. It's going to bed every day feeling fulfilled with the day that you've had and waking up excited to take on the next.
Not finding your identity in just your career. That is such a terrible mistake our generation makes, is putting our worth in how much money we make or what our job title is. And it's so off.
Finding new hobbies that fulfill you and make you challenge you to try new things. For instance, I took on cooking, and that's just been something that has changed my life drastically.
I had someone ask me recently, they were like, if you could change anything about your life, like, what would you change? I wouldn't change anything drastically. Like, I wouldn't change my job. Like, even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still work where I work because I love it. It's fun. And I love who I work with. And I love what I do. And I love where I live. I love my friends.
Yeah, I've just found so many departments that fulfill me, just not just within my work and my career. It's important to find things outside of that make you happy and, fulfill you every single day.
Happiness is the lack of desire and just being happy with what you have. And if you're not happy, then change it. Have that courage to make the steps you need to change what you're not happy about, whether that's your weight or, a toxic friendship or whatever it is that's holding you back from being your truest, happiest, most thriving self.
As a dad, I couldn't have been happier to hear each of them say the same 2 words to start their answer: self-love. So what happens when you don't spend thousands of hours checking boxes and doing what you're told? You gradually unlock self-directed thriving centered on self-love. You don't chase money, job titles, or the expectations of others. You don't carry the burden of sunk costs, and you don't allow yourself to get stuck in a job you hate because you went all in on it as a teenager. Instead, you lean into the simplicity of conducting activities that challenge you and lead to fulfillment. You don't allow yourself to get stuck because you confidently change what isn't working. You continuously try new things instead of building your identity around a job. Summarized, you grow and develop vigorously. That is path breaking. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you'd like to check out the book and learn more, you can visit pathbreakerparenting.com. Thanks a lot for watching.